Alright, hello again, Movie Club people. This is the LTA Movie Club review for the movie Network. And first off, I'd like to say that I would like to applaud whoever decided to choose this movie just because, it's an older film. All the movies I've seen so far for the movie club have been either like 90s or 2000s or whatever you call that decade. I don't know, the aughts. And it's nice to see a little bit more diversity, to see an older film like this. That being said, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought this was a great film to watch. I'll get the cast out of the way first so I can talk about the plot. Peter Finch was great as like Howard Beale, the crazy old prophet, you know, who's like I'll get to in a little bit. He's just talking about, how everything's just become more of a corporation and everything. It's everything's run by corporations, and I guess in the movie he was telling us to rebel against it, but nowadays it's a little bit more tougher to do since everything's commercialized. Faye Dunaway, I thought she did a good job. The cold, heartless programmer who only really cares about television ratings, which pretty much every television person these days. And then there was William Holden who did Max, who was, um, I'm blanking on the name. Oh, Howard Beale. William Holden, who was, Howard Beale's good friend Max, who was also like heading up the news department before he got fired after allowing one of Howard's rants on the air. He did a good job too, but it almost kind of brings me to the point where I'm not sure why he was exactly in the movie outside of that. Which I kind of had a problem with the romance part of it between Faye Dunaway and William Holden because I didn't really think it was necessary. Because it didn't. I couldn't really find anything that really had a good point that like drove the plot along. It just kind of seemed like it was there, and it's not like it was just shoehorned in at the last second. It looked like there was a it had, but it just didn't really have a lot to do with the movie. It just seemed out of place. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But what I really wanted to get to was the plot and like, kind of like the theme of the movie. And I'll say in Howard's rants, 35 years later, it's pretty much just come true. You know, he was talking about how, don't let corporations take over before, Ned Beatty told him corporations are a good thing, they keep the world going. And and that's true. Whether we like it or not, today everything is run by corporations. And I think what the best example is, I'm a big sports fan. I mean, you look at every video so far, I'm wearing, a sports jersey. Um, and nowadays, it's just, you look at every sporting event that's seen, it's presented by, like, Coca Cola or Pepsi or the new hit video game or movie that's coming out soon. Every stadium is now sponsored by something. Gone are the days of, like, names like Tiger Stadium, Comiskey Park, the Boston Garden. Now it's the time of Comerica Park, Quicken Loans Arena, Sun Life Stadium. And, it's annoying, yeah, but, I just see it's just part of the everyday life now. Everything is sponsored by a corporation. And it kind of brings us to the other point where, Faye Dunaway is like the ratings grabber and all that. And that is definitely true today. And, all you have to do is just look at, like, those trashy TV shows. I guess you could say they're trashy TV shows. Jerry Springer, Maury. It's almost like tune in to see how ridiculous it gets, and people do, and that's why they're still on the air. That's why they're still on the air like 15, 20 years after they were first seen on television. And same thing with reality TV. Reality TV stays on because it gets good ratings and it's cheap to produce. And that's pretty much it. You look at all the successful TV programs, how many of them are actually, like scripted, or like scripted comedies or dramas or all that, and that number is really dwindling. And kind of look like soap opera. Soap operas used to be huge, a long time ago, and now like all like the old soap operas like Guiding Light, and I think As the World Turns was another one, or maybe Married with Children is another one too. They're all getting canceled because nobody's watching them anymore. Now it's just about the talk shows where all these semi-famous women go around and chat about what's big in the news today. And even now we have shows like the Daily Show and the Colbert Report, which talk about how ridiculous the news gets at times. And we have shows like The Soup, which just make fun of how stupid reality television gets at times. And not just reality television, like those talk shows I just brought up. All those trashy shows like Jerry Springer and more. Anything ridiculous that happens in television. That's just how our society has gotten. And, all in all, I would definitely recommend this movie. I thought it was a great movie. It definitely sends a message. It did to me. And so I would advise all of you to check it out.